Episode 3 of The Acolyte can literally be described as some of the worst TV ever made. And when you think that this show had a $180 million budget, like wow. Disney is spiraling out of control, annihilating what's left of this global franchise that they bought for $4.1 billion, that's with a B, from George Lucas. The Acolyte is about as well made as one of those cheesy Mexican soap operas. Have you seen those? I mean, it's hard to put into words just how bad this episode really is. And to truly appreciate the cringe-worthy grade school expertise that went into making The Acolyte, you have to watch it for yourself. It makes a mockery of everything that was once Star Wars with high school level scripts and third grade level dialogue. This is TV producing and storytelling at its very worst, and it should be no surprise that it comes with the stamp of approval from Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, how she still has a job after driving Star Wars into a brick wall at 90 miles per hour is simply mind-blowing.
You might want to keep your eyes on the road, Playboy.
In this episode, we discover that Osha and May have two mothers. Yes.
Are you with me? Are you with me?
Star Wars has such hate for masculinity that they've cut out all fathers altogether. They're done. Such a great idea, Leslie. They live on a secluded planet in a mountain fortress with a coven of witches led by their two mothers, Mother Anastasia and Mother Coral. I mean, I really hope we get to hear how the one woman was able to impregnate the other.
Put it on the screen.
How in the hell did they even build this thing? I mean, this mountain fortress, it's massive. They must have used the thread. Wait, the what? Yes, these witches use the Force, but they call it the thread, and believe the Jedi are the ones who actually misuse it. The episode tries to convince us of a growing rift between Osha and May and a rivalry between the witches and the Jedi. It's a cringe-worthy setup that lacks the most basic story elements to convince us this universe is even real.
Are you stoned or something?
Each scene is like a clumsy block that is forced in beside the next one to try and create conflict between the sisters while trying to show the differences between the witches and the Jedi. All of it feels incredibly forced and manufactured because it lacks the basic world building and story setup to make us believe any of it is actually real. I mean, the sheer incompetence of this writing team is on full display in this episode.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
There is nothing clever about anything that happens. There is no subtext or mystery as to why anything is the way it is or why things happen the way they do. The Jedi appear at the perfect time to interrupt the Ascension ceremony just as May finishes, and Osha is about to begin hers, and the ceremony only takes about 30 seconds. And apparently, the Jedi search the galaxy for children and can take them away from their family if they pass the Jedi test. I mean, really? I mean, that sounds kind of brutal, doesn't it? And if that wasn't enough, this episode is filled with pretentious dialogue from Mother Anastasia, who tries to give us some kind of philosophical brilliance in every scene to point out how smart she is. It's nothing more than Leslie Headland and her team of writers deciding that they wanted to show the audience how smart they are by drowning us in their cheesy philosophical lessons as they wrote in feeble and near laughable... wait, did I say near? I just meant to say laughable, manufactured conflict between the two twin sisters. Every plot point and story element is held together by the tiniest and thinnest of threads. Excuse the pun on that one.
Yes.
The dialogue is as bad as it can get. And if you really want to appreciate this level of bad, you have to watch it for yourself because there is no description that I can give that can do it any justice.
Where's Mama? Where's Mama? Mama's dead. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done?
The entire story setup is like a children's book that stumbles from one scene to the other. It's like this happens, then this happens, then this happens. they try to establish the two opposing sides that will become the underlying motivations for the next 5 episodes. Osha and the Jedi philosophy versus May and the philosophy of the witches. But the fact is, all of the motivations feel baseless and have no stakes to create any sort of tension.
We're not interested, thanks. You're not interested?
You heard me.
We don't care about the characters, and after 3 episodes, there is no story payoff that we're looking forward to. It's an emotionally empty TV show that is more like a paid-by-numbers high school drama school project. Just like the first 2 episodes, every set looks fake, with lighting that offers no realism or cinematography to capture your attention.
Go on.
Now, I'm not going to mention the burning stone at the end of this episode or what actually killed all of these witches. I mean, they're just lying dead where they stood. No boulders crushing them, no evidence of trauma, intense radiation. I mean, nothing. The Acolyte is filled with head-scratching story inconsistencies and scene transitions that leave you shaking your head at how clumsy they are. Why was no one at Disney keeping an eye on Leslie Headland and this production? They had access to the dailies from the previous day's shoots and could have easily reviewed them every morning to get an idea of how the series was coming together, or they could have read and approved the scripts before they actually went into production. You know, something that's even scarier is that the scripts were reviewed by Disney and given the approval in their current form. I mean, if that's the case, then there is no hope for Disney. It's over.
And Leslie Headland is ushering in this new era of Star Wars, and now we're seeing people lining up on the streets and seeing this soon on Disney Plus, and we couldn't be more excited.
The current team at Disney and Lucasfilm lack the most basic production and planning skills to create a watchable Star Wars TV show, even when it has a budget of over $180 million. Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy have once again decided to give the keys to the Star Wars franchise to activist-driven and obsessed minds to further desecrate this once global franchise into an even less recognizable shadow of its former self. Leslie Headland took woke feminist culture and inserted it into the Star Wars TV series. It's intersectionality at its best, folks. Why focus on silly things such as plot, great storytelling, and character development when you can just politicize your Star Wars show and turn off even more Star Wars fans from this franchise?
Wow, they hate it.
I'd actually find it hard to believe that there are any real Star Wars fans left in what has become the most cringe-worthy and activist-driven TV and movie property in Hollywood. It's the new Star Wars, baby, Disney style. The Walt Disney Company is slowly crumbling before our eyes.
You know, I think this was the golden age of the Jedi, and they're going to get a chance to see that. So, very exciting.
And has earned the ire and mockery from fans because of the content Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy seem so proud to produce. The Acolyte will most certainly be the show that buries the Star Wars franchise. The only reason to watch the final 5 episodes is for pure hate watching, and for comedy, I guess. Episode 3 is the clearest example yet of how low this once massively popular franchise has fallen and been transformed into nothing but a laughable joke. The Acolyte takes Star Wars to all new lows with some of the worst looking sets, scripts, acting, lighting, and world building imaginable. But here's the thing. Every time you and I think that Star Wars has hit bottom, Disney and Lucasfilm find a new activist-minded writer and director who takes their flimsy knowledge and understanding of the Star Wars universe and creates a new abomination. This time it's Leslie Headland's turn, who has created a Star Wars TV show that smashes away at what's left of this once epic global franchise. And that's all I have to say about The Acolyte Episode 3, and I will see you in our next video.